Mark Albion is a typical example of a man who had it all. He earned 3 degrees at Harvard University, a bachelor in economics, an MBA, and a PhD in business economics. In 1982, at the age of 31, he won an appointment in Harvard Business School where he taught marketing. His business there was phenomenal, and he was constantly referred to as the wonderkind professor of Harvard Business School. Although being a professor at his age, he was much younger than many of his students. Nationally, he was recognized as one of America's top young professors and was profiled on CBS 60. At the age of 35, Mark was making money beyond his wildest imagination. He was being described as a hotshot consultant who was getting richer by the minute. As at 1986, he was charging a consulting fee of $5,000 per day from the blue chip companies who sought his expertise. These blue chip companies flew him regularly to their operating headquarters to help them fine-tune their brands. He was also co-owner of a nutritional supplements company that raked in $60 million in his first 6 months. He was on the shortlist with one other candidate to become the nutritional company's next chief executive officer and get extremely well there. He was also being courted by the Reagan's administration for a sub-cabinet post. He had unlimited resources at his disposal and also personal wealth of his own. By every definition of the word, he was a successful hotshot and many of his peers envied him. In spite of all these successes, Mark Albion was a miserable man. Time and again, he wondered to himself that something didn't feel right about his life. He wondered that something vital was missing from his life. All this made him feel his life was being sucked out of him on a daily basis. Despite these misgivings, Albion couldn't bring himself to give up the good life in Harvard. He was reveling in the glory of his work there offered him. This continued for a long time. The feeling of a deep dissatisfaction and unfulfillment were very familiar with him, but he trudged along hoping that things would get better and he would start enjoying his work someday. Instead of such a day coming, he rather received a wake-up call that helped him make the decision to find his calling and pursue it. It so happened that his mother Lenin was suffering from cancer. She had been unwell for a period of time before she broke the news to him. In spite of her falling health, his mother had continued to go to work, driving herself there daily and lying on the floor next to her desk because she could not sit at all. It was every day because she loved her work so much and found it fulfilling. Mark Albion then himself asked the ultimate question: would I do the same for Harvard University? The answer was so emphatic no. He couldn't see himself dragging this body to work daily to lie on the floor beside his office desk, working endlessly for the students at the university, and the reason is because he didn't find the work fulfilling. There and then, he received the courage to stop pursuing the material rewards that kept him bound, working for Harvard University, and went in search of his life purpose and assignment. He went in search of his heartbeat, that one thing he could give undeniable commitment to, even if it means his very life ebbing away. It took him some years, but he eventually found that fulfilling. That is, he began sharing inspirational messages through several means, newsletters, speaking from the stage, and through books on subjects that mattered to him deeply to motivate, inspire, and encourage others. And he said, I've been an educator for most of my life, but I've always gone by the books, not just by books. I didn't have the courage or the confidence to be myself, whoever that was. However, for the first time in my 45 years on earth, I was able to speak at the United Nations conference in my style, with my own voice and from my heart. Doing that at conference marked the beginning of happiness and fulfillment for me. It was only after this that he found inner peace and satisfaction in life. He said, Tony Robbins said, I've seen business moguls achieve their ultimate goals, but still live in frustration, worry, and fear. What's preventing these successful people from being happy? The answer is they have focused on achievement and not fulfillment. Extraordinary accomplishment does not guarantee extraordinary joy, happiness, love, and a sense of meaning. These two skills feed off each other and make me believe that success without fulfillment is a failure. You might be a Mark Albion in your own class today. You might have gone ahead to achieve the material comforts of life, and yet your soul has not found fulfillment. Probably, you have even been thinking that something is wrong with you because in spite of all you have that makes your peers envious, you are still not satisfied. Well, I want to know that nothing is wrong with you. What you have missing all this while is that self-fulfillment cannot be gotten from anything in the physical world. It is only obtainable when you discover what you are truly born for and you pursue it with all your might. And that is what you should begin doing from right now. Find out who you are when you're born to accomplish on earth and begin to do them. You'll be surprised at how your life will turn to a paradise on earth. Every day for you will cause your heart to be lit up with joy and satisfaction. Thank you.